Hey you guys, this is Rachel here with Senza Corso. So I didn't upload yesterday because I was just not in a good place emotionally. Didn't really have anything to really say. Velocity, shh. So those of you may remember, hey, shh, Velocity, I'm not playing, stop. Hey, I said stop. Go lay down now. Go lay down now. So anyway, Zulu with our litter with Oso. Sorry, I'm having a hard time getting my thoughts together. So Zulu is from the same litter that Oso was in. He was from our second litter out of Preacher and Cashmere. He passed away yesterday. I want to preface this by stating that the owners did nothing wrong. They're amazing people. They did a really great job with their puppy and raised him up to be a very well-mannered young Corso. They really just did everything that they could, and I can't say enough about the quality of ownership that they provided to Zulu while he was alive. So, no, Velocity, no. So I just want to be clear that this is not directed at them in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I actually told them that they could have a replacement puppy from me for free, just because I felt for them, and it's not their fault, and they just did such an amazing job, and they are hurting so much right now that I just wanted to try to help in any way that I could. Having said that, Zulu did pass away from an obstruction, most likely. We did not do an autopsy, but that is the most likely cause. There was an x-ray done, and there was something seen on the x-ray, and the vet decided that the vet wanted to wait. And the reason that, that I'm, really wanting to address this is because I personally had a dog that died from an obstruction. The same thing, the vet told me to just wait it out, and, most likely because it was a big dog that she would pass it, and she did not. She passed away. And she passed away in her kennel in the night, and I didn't even know. And so, quit. I don't mind if the puppy's playing, but I don't want you getting in because it's going to get loud. So anyway, I just wanted to be very clear with all of you. Hey, no, Batista, that if your dog has a possible obstruction, Batista, come on. Then it is very important that if the dog is showing no symptoms, then sure, whatever, you can wait it out, you know what I mean? But if the dog is throwing up and off its food, then you have to get it out, you know what I mean? Because the dog is clearly, having a hard time with it, and there's a high risk that the dog isn't going to be able to pass it, and whenever it gets bad, it's going to get bad so fast that there's really nothing that you can do about it, which is what happened with Zulu. He died on the way to the vet. So, like I said, it's not their fault. They did exactly what they thought that they were supposed to do. They did what the vet told them to do. And they cannot be faulted for taking the advice of a professional that is taught how to do that. So I have nothing but just sympathy for what they're going through right now. But I just want to make it clear to everyone else that if your dog ever has something like that, that if it's symptomatic, Velocity, quiet. That if it's symptomatic, that it is truly in your best interest and the dog's best interest to get them in for surgery. The vet, for whatever reason, may or may not think that that's necessary. But if the dog is showing signs of illness, then I genuinely believe that, that you should. I don't think that there's anything wrong with like a 24-hour thing, but this dog was sick, I think almost a whole week. and he lasted longer than even my dog did. My dog lasted 3 days. So if a dog is going to pass something, it's going to be relatively quickly. And the thing about it is, for me, is even if it does or would, the odds that your dog may not, it's like you're basically risking their life. You know what I'm saying? Like you really are. And so I say, don't take the risk. You know, if they're showing signs, and if what you've done, I think they gave him an enema, if that doesn't work within 24 hours, then just prep him for surgery and get it out. You know what I mean? And oh well, you know, maybe he would have passed it, but you know what? We didn't have to find out because it's out and he's safe and alive. And so I wasn't there. I was not a part of that conversation. So there was no way for me to assist them with making that decision. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing in this situation that could have been different to make the outcome different. You know what I mean? It was what it was, and they know that now, and they are also upset with their vet. You know, they know what happened, and they're not happy about it. And because they had the money, you know what I mean? It's one thing when a person doesn't have the money, you know, and they're just like, I can't afford it, you know, like it's, you know, and they have to take the risk, you know what I mean? But when you can afford it, when you have the money sitting there and you're ready to go, and the vet's just like, oh no, you know, we'll just wait and see, you know, that is, I'm sure, very, very, very frustrating, because there was no reason to take the risk. You know what I mean? That's the way they saw it. And for whatever reason, the vet decided to take the risk. And that's, you know, maybe the vet knows now. There's no telling if it was a young vet, if it was a new vet, maybe she didn't know, you know what I mean? And that was her learning experience, but she learned it on their dog. So, I just want to be very clear that in no way, shape, or form do I blame the owners. I have nothing but the utmost sympathy for them right now. I want nothing more than to brighten their life with a new Corso puppy, free of charge. You know what I mean? Like I just want them to be happy again, because they were doing such a great job, and it's hard to find people that are such great owners. They kept their dog in it's so hard. A lot of times, good owners, they may overfeed their dogs, or they may, you know, train them, but they're not really very well trained. Like they're kind of treat trained. So it's like they get by, you know what I mean? Like there's all different kinds of owners, and they were just great. They did everything. They kept him at a good weight. They did all the training like I did. They were always willing to listen and take advice and do what was in his best interest. And they literally gave it 110% all the time, and no breeder can ask for anything more from their buyers. We just can't. And I would be honored to have another of my dogs in their house, because I know the quality of care that dog is going to receive. So you know, it's just really sad, and I guess I just wanted to bring it up because I don't want that to happen to anyone else. You know, it is such a tragedy. It happened to me, it happened to them, and it's just unfortunate. A lot of vets are really not prepared, you know, for a lot of stuff sometimes. I don't know what it is, but the 2 times that I took my dogs to the vet, you know, with Oso, and then also with Clout, they couldn't figure out what was wrong with him either one of the times, and I had to go to my breeder friends and find out, you know, and sure enough, they figured it out, you know. Although I will say I figured out the water thing, but they figured out the urinary tract infection with Clout. So it's just, you know, even my vet was talking about it. She's like, every time you come to me, she was like, it's always a mystery. She's like, it's always something that we don't know what it is. And we laughed about it, but the truth is that, you know, breeders are a network of information. All together, we can kind of touch base and communicate and really find out you know, what's going on. And especially, you know, you have to imagine, we work with different breeds. Well, different breeds, I'm sure, are going to respond to illnesses in their own unique ways. I'm sure there's some commonalities across all dogs, but I bet you that there are commonalities in between the breed. And so knowing that and being able to ask everyone and cross-reference is an excellent way to have the animal's best interest at heart, or in hand, because you can figure out what's going on. And I think that it's a highly, highly undervalued part of the community is our ability to work together and look at all of our, cross-reference all of our experience to see what something could be when a vet doesn't really have the, the experience for it. I think you really have to be doing it a long time. So having said that, I just want to make sure and hopefully this information can help someone else. You know what I mean? If you suspect that your dog has a blockage and you take them to the vet because they're throwing up and off their food, if the vet sees something, at the very most, you give them 24 hours. If the enema or whatever it is that they give them doesn't work, then you tell them you want the surgery. Say you don't want to take the risk. You just want to save the dog. That's what's most important. Just save the dog, all right? And if you don't have the money for that, then don't buy the dog. And that's a big thing I tell people. That's why people ask, well, why don't you do payment plans, or why don't you do this or that? And it's because there are very big expenses that come with big dogs, really any dog, that you need to be prepared for. You either need to A, have the money set aside, ready to go, or B, you need to have good enough credit to qualify for that care credit card whenever it comes down to it. Because you will be unable to save that animal's life if you don't. So, keep that in mind, and this is a very real life situation of why that is the case. Now, these people didn't have that issue. This was purely bad advice. But just, I've had people say that before, you shouldn't have to be rich, or you shouldn't have to have all this money, or why don't y'all take payment plans, or blah, blah, blah. And there's a reason for it. We don't want to put the dog into a home where they would ever be in a situation where the owner is unable to get the life-saving surgery that animal would need to stay alive. And we do that by making sure that you're financially stable enough to do so. So, that's all I got to say. It sucks. Like I said, there's nothing but sympathy for the owners of Zulu. They're amazing people. And I just hope that maybe this tragedy can help other people by us spreading the message. And keep your socks and your intimates picked up, because dogs like to eat that stuff. Keep your house cleaned up. Keep an eye on your dogs. There's a reason why people kennel whenever they're not home, if they can't trust their dog not to chew stuff up, because if you're not there to see it go down, you may not even know what's going on. So, yeah. All right. Well, that's it. That's all I got to say. So I hope y'all have a good day, and I'll talk at you later. Bye.